Welcome to People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.
Good day and a warm welcome to everyone. Today in the studio with us, we have a very special guest, Dr. L Antioinette Stines, who is the director of ACADCO. Lovely to have you, Ms. Stines. How are you?
I am perfect, my darling, in my warm Jamaica.
Wish I was there. What inspired the creation of ACADCO and how has its vision evolved since its inception?
Well, it first began, in Miami, Florida. I was there living. And I noticed that there wasn't a dance company that represented the tri-ethnic community of Hispanics, Blacks, and Caucasians, And I thought the dance could bring people together in that way, having all of that on stage. That was how when I was a very young girl and learning about history and Black history and everything. And then I decided to come back to Jamaica, and it started again. It was a rebirth. And in Jamaica, my focus became quite different. It was focused on a lot on Black Lives Matter from 100 years ago, because the company is now has had our 40th anniversary. So I was doing that kind of choreography from that time. And also to present the culture of my country, and also because of my experience in New York as a dancer, it ended up becoming the development of a new language in dance, the technique I have created in dance called L Antech. So that started to evolve because I realized that in contemporary dance, to represent Jamaica, we needed to also, because dance is language, we need to also dance in patois.
Yeah, absolutely. So could you elaborate on the unique aspects of L Antech, the dance technique pioneered by ACADCO?
The dance technique pioneered by Dr. Antoinette Stines, because it is my creation, but assisted on the bodies of ACADCO dancers. Because if they didn't have faith in what I was doing, it could not have happened, for a fact. So it's a combination of both. L Antech is a technique that represents all that came off onto our land from way back in history. So what came off because of enslavement, and research that proved goes back further than enslavement. So on the body at the same time, you will see Africa and Europe. So we have a movement. If people are listening and they know dance, they will know what is a tendu, which is to point the toe. And so you will see that, but you will see the back doing a Haitian Yan Valou. And that Yan Valou has landed in Jamaica and ended up in Gully Creeper and all kind of dancehall movements. So it has become borrowed by us permanently. We never give it back.
Right.
And so the body is doing what I call a bridging to synergizing to bridge cultures. So it is not as if you dance and you do a classical movement and then you stand up in that spot and do a little traditional move. No, you're doing everything simultaneously as a technical procedure that's training the body to be a Caribbean dancer, a modern dancer dominated by Caribbean information.
So you touched upon it a bit, but how does ACADCO integrate Caribbean cultural elements into contemporary dance?
I think you would need a class, a demonstration. It is very, very difficult for me to verbalize it, but I will try. I think I started to do it before. We have a process that's different in that We don't have, most dance classes have a bar, a center, and progressions. We have 6 sections, and we name them traditional, which means it's traditional dance that we have now evolved to become indigenized. And we begin in a circle on the floor with the drummer in the center, getting the spirit, mind, and body to become united as one. Because dancers, a lot of dancers work full-time. And when they rush to, that was my experience, and you run to dance class in New York, by the time you do the 4th exercise, your spirit not there. You just have body in motion, because you just went through the jarring process of a subway or the jarring work process during the day. Somebody got on your nerve. You brought that through the door of the studio. You are at the bar, and you have to release that in order to really dance. And to release that, you have to get your spirit, mind, and body to become one and flow together at the same time. So we begin with that. Then we have what you call spirit dance center, when you are allowed to be you. And then the technical procedure that happens at the bar, the use of the bar is quite different, because in classical ballet, you are touching the bar gently. But I thought that bar was such a fabulous instrument. Why am I touching it gently only? And so, because we pull away from the bar, and we have different positions at the bar that we use, positions that you couldn't use because you're on your heel and your body's all the way back. You have to hold that bar firmly. And because we do other kinds of alignments at the bar, our progressions, we don't have 5 positions of the feet. We have 6. Plus we have what we call the positions that represent the everyday Caribbean woman, with our hand on our elbow, the kimbo, with our duck foot and our bottom slightly cock out. And she faced, and she looked like she going to tell you 2 bad words. You know? I remember being at an airport and trying to get to the front of the line to ask a question, and everybody's elbow was knocking me out. I am short, and everybody had them hand on kimbo. And so that is a very important position that represents not Jamaica, but the entire Caribbean.
Right.
The other thing is that it is dominantly Jamaican retention, because I'm Jamaican. But it also has, as I told you, borrowed information that came across the ocean, maybe with the Africans as well, like Haitian Yan Balu. But it also has Cuban, because if you look at the history of Jamaica, Cuba was here also, way back in history. And so does not look at all like the Cuban, La Técnica Cubana, which is from Havana, or the Eduardo Rivera technique, which is from Santiago. It is distinctly L Antech, a Caribbean technique, which is now codified and examinable. So someone can study and get certificates level 1, level 2, until level 6, which is when you get professorship.
So, in what ways does ACADCO engage with the wider community and contribute to arts education?
Whoa. Now, let me tell you something. It educates to the wider community in the Caribbean. Not in Jamaica alone.
Yes.
Because of L Antech. Because now, on the exams, which are CSEC and CAPE exam, the exam that you have to take, because I'm speaking to a wider community, so let me explain. These exams that you have to take in order to graduate from high school, in performing arts, L Antech is one of the techniques that you can choose to study. A lot of people choose it because here I am, right here in Jamaica, and they can come and interview me and write papers on it. And in that way, because of that now, the information from the technique is in all the Caribbean islands can relate to it. That is one way. Also in having community involvement where people who cannot afford dance can come and study. Also our performances all over Jamaica.
You kind of touched upon my next question, which is what have been some of the most memorable milestones for ACADCO? I mean, having it to be a dance style where you have to use it to graduate is a pretty big milestone.
Well, milestones for me are so I have different things that make me feel like it's a milestone. It's a milestone to me when I stopped to buy a coconut, and the coconut man said, "Miss Antoinette, you're the dancer lady who have the technique when name Lan, she can't pronounce it, but he knows it exists." For me, that's a milestone.
Of course.
that the everyday person selling me a coconut, not in Kingston, in Trelawney, a parish far from Kingston. But if you want to know of milestones, that what people call milestones, for me, performing at Carifesta, where all the Caribbean islands are there who are members of CARICOM. And I go to teach a class, and I expect to teach a class of 10, 15 people, and 80 something to 100 people are there. And I'm told I must kick out some people. I say, you're crazy. If I kick out one person, I didn't kick out a person, I kicked out a country. Because in CARICOM, you're representing a country. For me, that was a fantastic moment, because when I was a young girl starting ACADCO, my aim was to make the Caribbean at first know us. And then I had a second, you have your 5-year plan and your 10-year plan, was to make the rest of the world know us. For me, this recent tour to New York was a milestone as well, because there are many milestones. We have been to Japan and get standing ovation. But this recent tour to New York was very special to us, because we took ourselves there because we want Jamaicans Caribbeans to experience us. But we not only want Caribbeans, we want the dance world to know us. And it was really wonderful to see the full house, to get standing ovations. It was really nice of the Consul General to allow us to do it under her distinguished patronage. And so there are many milestones. The milestone of a little girl in my studio, learning L Antech, and then being able to pass it on in years to come. Having now people who have taken level 6 exams and can teach it in London, like Aureen Frater, who can teach it in London, Jessica Shaw, who went to Grenada to teach it. These are milestones. It means that my legacy will not die. And when you get to my age, that's important to you.
You know what they say, we lick about with Talawa. So in regards to legacy, how do you envision the future of Caribbean contemporary dance, and what role will ACADCO play in it?
One thing we as Caribbeans must always remember, that we are the source. It's a very important thing for our spirit, our identity, our love of self, to know we are source. Remember, the enslaved were brought to us, and then they went through what is called seasoning. It's a funny word that they use to describe it, seasoning. When I hear seasoning, I think garlic and onion and scallion.
Right.
That seasoning means that they were taught to say yes, sir, and they were just gentler slaves, and those were the ones that they sent abroad. But you have to remember, that our slaves were really good at masking, and they were really good at making you think that you're seeing something that you're not seeing. Because even when they're saying yes, sir, master, them is causing a revolution in the back of their head. Something is happening that you're not going to expect. Okay? So our Caribbean, meaning not just Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, is rich with culture, but also rich with contemporary dance and modern dance. Because in Haiti, you have like jonguí. In Cuba, you have La Técnica Cubana. So, you have all these other techniques that evolve out of the source that the American space has to now acknowledge. We have to acknowledge that these techniques exist. That is our big job. And I feel that ACADCO, in touring internationally, in creating a documented, examinable technique, will be one of the sources that assists with that identity and that self-love and that knowledge that we are. I am. There's a man named Baba Chuck Davis, who was in charge of BAM Dance Africa in New York, who said, you mustn't say my name is, you must say I am. And that I am, that Ubuntu, I am, is very important. And I think the Caribbean is now going to step out again. And I hope that ACADCO will lead it.
So finally, what advice would you give to young dancers aspiring to join a company like ACADCO?
I'm going to tell you a secret. If I should know how to answer that question, because everybody who interviewed me wants to know that. And I like yours. Yours is quite different. Believe it or not. Yours is aspiring to be a member of ACADCO. I don't get that question. I get, you want to be a dancer, or yours is quite different. Congratulations. Aspiring I think, first of all, I don't look for dancers who can just do steps. I look for dancers with a soul. I need passion on my stage. I need you to love you on my stage. I have dancers that when you look at them, when they come on the stage at the enter curtsy, you say, my God, them look feisty. I love that. I love that they look feisty. Because what they're saying is, I am. Or we, as a community, we are. And so I look for dancers that sometimes they come to me and they are not, because they will not know my technique at first. But I can see the fire in them, and I can see that they are ready to train and to know that it is a responsibility, and to know that it's not something that you're going to just get and jump up and down and learn overnight, but it's a process. And once I see that, you know, I am ready to take that dancer. You don't have to have a devil play up in your ears, but you have to have a sense of where your leg is. You have to know your leg and your foot. And, you know, you have to have that presence and that ability for me to teach you how to take it to somewhere else. I think that's what you need to do to be a ACADCO dancer. You have to be spirit, mind, and body moving at one time. And if you're open for me to teach you that, then you can be a ACADCO dancer. I am Dr. Antoinette Stines. And I'm grateful for this interview. And I hope everybody listening to me, big them up with lots of love.
Thank you.
People, power, and politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's people, power, and politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.